Hi, and welcome to a Pilates mat workout using the mini stability ball. So this is the 7.5-inch mini stability ball, which is perfect. However, if you have the larger orange 12-inch mini stability ball, that's fine as well. So any size will really work. However, anything much smaller than this, you might find to be a little bit problematic. So, okay, we're going to get started, and most of today's repertoire will be encompassing stuff that was previously taught in the essential mat workout. Now, some of the exercises are going to come from the intermediate workout. However, you will find that once we start utilizing props, sometimes that does make the exercises a little bit more achievable. So what we're going to start with is a little bit of breathing awareness. So I'm just going to ask you to take the ball and just gently hug it into the abdomen. You can keep the eyes opened or closed for this. We're sitting nice and comfortably. So what we can do is just start taking nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through pursed lips. So as you're breathing in, you are going to feel the abdominal wall expanding into the ball. And then an exhale out again through pursed lips. Let's just do that 2 more times. Breathing in and exhaling out. Once more. Part of the reason I have the ball here is I want your inhales to be deep enough that you feel the breath making its way to the ball and it's not staying isolated in the chest area. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use the ball to set us up to go through a little bit of our imprint to neutral. So for that, I'm going to ask you to place the ball on the low back area, okay? Now, you will have to be in a little bit of an active thoracic flexion here so that you don't find your neck in a compromised position. Now for this, the arms are going to remain on the floor. I'm going to move this right arm out of the way though because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to take this arm out of the way, but I want you to leave your arm here. So I'm going to be rocking my pelvis to neutral and back to imprint. Neutral and to imprint. So I'm going to go ahead and place my arm back beside me. So let's take a breath in. Let's exhale, finding your imprint. And you want to make sure you're doing that by a contraction of the obliques, not by a contraction of the glutes. And then as you exhale again, you're permitting that release back to a neutral position. Exhale, imprint. And let's go ahead and inhale back to neutral this time. Your abdominals should be waking up to this. Mine are a little shaky, to be honest with you. And then returning to neutral, we're going to go one more time. Exhale to imprint. And then inhale, returning to neutral. Now, using your arms, back them up just a little so you can roll up onto the wrist to assist yourself up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to lay back down on our backs. And if you use a head prop, you can go ahead and put that into place. As I was warming up today, I did not feel the need for one, so I do not have one with me today. We're going to take that stability ball and we're just going to hold it up above the chest, just lightly applying a little bit of pressure into the ball. Take a breath in, and let's exhale, reaching the arms overhead. This is your rib cage check, so we're making sure our ribs are staying connected together. As you breathe in, the arms are going to come back up to the ceiling, and we're just going to hold here for the exhale. Breathing in and exhaling back and overhead. If you find the ball has made your arm width a little too narrow, let's inhale, bringing the arms back up. You could do this portion without the ball. Let's go one more time. We're going to go ahead and exhale over. And then inhale back up. Take that exhale and let's go ahead and bring the ball down towards the chest. Now, I'm going to ask you to bring yourself back up because we are going to be setting up for an ab prep exercise with the ball. So what I'm going to ask you to do now is we're going to set the ball up a little bit higher on the upper back. So what that's going to look like is between the shoulder blade area or perhaps around like the bra line area. if that visual resonates for you. Now, I am going to ask you to bring your hands behind your head, and we are going to talk about a few different positions here. Now, it's real tempting as soon as I've placed that ball on the upper back to go into an imprint, if not to go all the way to a posterior tilt. I'm going to encourage you to try and keep your low back in its neutral curve. So you will be thinking of your pubic bone going down through your legs towards the floor. And what we're going to do is we're going to lay on this ball in a neutral spinal position. However, it's on a bit of an incline because of the ball. From here, take a breath in. Exhale into your ab prep. So the head nods and I'm flexing my thoracic spine. Tempted as I may be, I'm not going to move my low back. Take a breath in. And then I'm exhaling back to just that neutral inclined position on the ball. Breathe in to prepare. Again, on the exhale, the head will nod and you're flexing this up, pausing at the top to breathe in, and then exhaling to return. And we're going to do that 3 more times. So for some of you, you may find this is a little easier on the ball than it was on the floor. Starting at a slight incline does ask a little bit less range of motion of the spine to find that flexion against gravity. Breathing in to prepare. Exhale, the head nods. And if you're familiar with your curvature of the spine, if your upper back is lacking in curve, if it's a little flat, it's often a lot easier to work with the prop underneath the upper back when you're working into spinal flexion versus just the floor. Now, we're going to move on from here. So now what I want you to do is find that neutral position again. Take a breath in and allow the spine to extend over the ball. And be gentle with your body. That first one may not be all that compliant. Now what's going to happen is as we inhale, we're going to start to bring ourselves back up past that neutral position, continue to exhale into that same ab prep. Breathing in, find your neutral. Exhale, find your extension. So we're going into a bigger range of motion. Inhale, you'll find neutral on the ball, the position we were just working from. You'll exhale into your ab prep, so that part's the same. The new part is finding that neutral, and then allow your ribs to open. Allow your elbows to spread apart. Breathing in, finding neutral incline. Exhale into flexion. Breathing back in, finding that neutral position, exhaling back over the ball. And we're going to go 1 more time. Breathing into neutral, exhaling into your flexion, and we're going to hold here. Now, it's really important that you are up high enough that it's not your forehead facing the ceiling. I want it to be the top of the head because we're going to move into a version of the 100 here. What I'm going to ask you to do is bring your arms down and in front of you, and they're at the height of your shoulder here. Now, if you feel the need, yes, you could go ahead and go into your imprint here as well. For the first half of these, I'm going to leave the legs down, and then when I bring the legs up, we will be changing the shape of the low back. So breathe in to prepare. Stay for your exhale, or if not, can you flex a little higher? And here go our pumps. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Continue with that, breathing in and out. And in, your ball should not be bouncing, and out. So that means you're holding your flexion, and in and out, and in and out. Now breathe in. Now I want you to find your imprint if you did not already. Bring one leg tabletop. Bring the other leg tabletop. Now, if the ball's not quite in the right position here, you can put your feet down and just scoot your bottom backwards or forwards and adjust the ball. You don't have to come all the way back off of it again. You'll know it's not in the right position if you do not find it possible to pick up the legs. Now, they could stay down. Otherwise, they're going to just remain right here for the next half. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. I want you to keep going. What you may find is you have to be very deliberate with the pumping of the arms. Otherwise, it will cause you to bounce up and down on the ball. So you don't want the pumping of the arms to disrupt the abdominal work you're doing to hold in this flexion. 2 more sets. In and out. And in and out. Take a breath in and pause. Now let's exhale. Place one leg down. Place the other leg down. Let's put those hands back behind our head for a moment. And let's revisit that full spinal extension position, because now that should feel quite nice. Now I'm going to have you assist yourself up, 1 leg or 2. And we are going to take a hold of the ball, and we are going to be setting up now for some roll-ups using the ball. Now, go ahead and come back down to the mat. Your legs can be bent and together, or they can be extended with the feet flexed together or apart. So, I'm going to start with a couple of half roll-ups before we go into any full versions of them. That way, if the full version is just not something your body is compliant with today, then you can modify out. So go ahead and pick your lower body position. Remember, if the legs are fully extended, it's key that the low back's not in too much extension. So if you cannot keep your ribs and your hips in a relationship with each other, please put a little bit of a bend in the knee. We're going to take that ball and we're going to reach it overhead. Take a breath in, reaching upward. Give the ball a little press as you exhale, and we're just flexing the thoracic spine here. Take your breath in, and how far can you bring those arms back before you have to exhale to lower back down? We're going to go 2 more just like that. Breath in, follow through, breathing in, exhaling down. And once again, inhale, exhale. Now remember, this modification is perfectly good. There's no reason to go further if the full roll-up is not achievable today. I'm quite curious to see what my body is going to do with this. We're breathing in. Now remember, as you exhale, about the time you can see your feet, give that ball a squeeze. You've got to go through your imprint to get through the low back. We're stretching over. My hamstrings are a little tight. I'm going to bend my knees. Inhale, start to roll down. Now right here, I am sending energy through my heels. I'm curling my pubic bone through towards my belly button, and then I'm all the way back down. Breathing in, use that exhale to your advantage here. Give the ball a squeeze. Think ribs to hips. First one's always the worst one. They get better as you go. Inhale. And then we're exhaling. This is going to be the last one, and this time at the top, we're going to make a change with the ball. So if you are doing a half roll-up, I will ask you after that repetition to go ahead and use a leg to assist you in coming up. Because what I'd like for you to do now is we're going to take the ball, and I'm going to have you place it underneath the the foot of one of your legs. So notice I've got kind of the heel of my leg on there, or heel of my foot. Now I'm going to bring myself back down. Once you're down, if you need to adjust the ball, you can. Now make sure, I want you to take a peek up, that the heel is in line with the sit bone. Once you put that ball there, that leg becomes very dynamic and tempted to move around. We're going to ask that leg to remain still as we bring our other leg to a tabletop position. Now, we have not really done one leg circle in previous videos yet. If you can straighten this leg and your hamstring's not angry with you, your low back's not angry with you, then please, by all means, leave it straight. If you need to keep a 90-degree knee, you can do that. I'm going to go somewhere between the two. Now, before we begin, I want you to feel all the points of contact on the floor. Back of the head, backs of the shoulders, palms, pelvis, lower ribs, and you're going to feel that foot in the ball. Now we're going to inhale as the leg in the air comes towards the straight leg. Continue to breathe in as that leg starts to move away from you. Now here's the big exhale because the leg's moved wide, and then it's going to come back. Pause. Inhale. We are striving to not have this leg that's circling, producing a lot of tension in the body. So we don't want to be gripping with this hip. This leg is moving to challenge your abdominals to prevent you from rotating your spine. Reverse your direction. So your arms are definitely assisting you. You will feel a press into the mat as you're doing this. There's your inhale. There's your exhale. Breathing in. Now, will there be a little movement side to side on the hips? There will. But you are controlling how much range that happens with. It's only done to prevent excessive tension in this hip. Now, bring this leg to the ground, and then what I'm going to ask you to do is bend that other knee and let's swap out that ball. So, take a peek at it. Make sure that that leg is in line with your sit bone, so it's no wider than your hip. It's not across the pubic bone. Arms down. Now, I would request that you try to replicate. So, whatever you did with the one leg in the air, you do the same thing with this leg in the air. So if you found that you did a straight leg on one side and you can't on the other, keep that in mind next time, because you want to err on the side of your limitation. Into the middle of the body, exhale away. If it helps, you can place your hands on your rib cage as a little bit of feedback. What is it I'm trying to do? I'm trying to not let my rib cage get tempted into moving with my leg. And you will find that that is more challenging when the leg is away from the body versus when it's coming into the body. This will be our last one, and we're going to reverse our direction. So inhale, try to keep your breath constant. Remember, on that exhale, you're trying to engage the transverse abdominis. You're always telling your belly button, just gently hug away from my shirt. Doesn't have to squeeze to the spine, but just don't let it hang out on your shirt. We're going to go one more time. Inhale to start the circle, and exhale to complete, bringing that leg down. Now, we're going to bring the other leg up, and I want you to assist yourself back up to seated. Okay, so we are going to go into a version of rolling like a ball with the ball. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the ball and we're going to hug it into our abdomen, and we're going to use the ball to create the space and to maintain the space between me and my thighs. Now, I'm going to ask you to go into your half roll back again. Bring one leg, then the other leg up. Remember where we're holding on. We're going to breathe into roll back. Exhale up. What the ball does here is it prevents you from letting your legs pull you back up by not letting them stray away from you. So you're trying to keep a hug on that ball the whole time. Let's go 4 more. And then final one. And legs down. Now we're going to put the ball back behind our upper back. So we're looking for that bra line area again. Okay. I will say the series that I'm about to go into is quite abdominally challenging. We did this in a central mat, so you could take the ball out completely for this and do all of this work from the floor. So before we pick the legs up, I'm going to actively engage my abdominals. I'm telling my ribs, slide, 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 slide down to my pelvis. I'm going to find my imprint. Legs tabletop. Hands beside the knees. Take a breath in, single leg stretch. One leg in, one leg out. And switch. With the ball behind you, you are not likely as tempted to take that leg quite as low. It might prefer to be a little higher because we don't want the leg pulling your low back towards your belly button. Exhaling on the reach. And away. And away. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, Both legs are going to come in, and we're going to set up for our obliques. Now for this one, I'm going to have you place your feet back down on the mat. Hands are going to go back behind the head. If you need a quick little break, give that ball a complete overextension. And then what we're going to do is we're going to flex the upper body. Think ab prep again. Do not take the lower body into flexion. Rotate to one side. What's great about the ball behind your back for this is the ball is going to roll from shoulder blade to shoulder blade. It keeps you from going into a side bend. You may find this a lot more difficult because you can't cheat. So we're twisting, armpit in line with hip, armpit in line with hip. Last 4, try to stay in the curve. So what I mean by that is don't find yourself laying on the ball relaxing. Last 2, last 1, coming back to the center. I'm going to adjust myself a little bit. I felt the ball sliding on my clothing. Arms back down, imprint. We're bringing the legs to tabletop, double leg stretch. Take a breath in, exhale, arms and legs reach, breathe into return. Exhale. Now you could do just the legs, you could do just the arms. We're trying to not lay out on the ball. Here's 4. And last 2. Final 1. And bringing one leg, then the other leg down real quickly. Let's go over with extension. Take a big breath in. Let that ab wall open. Let the ribs spread apart. Now we're coming back up. For this, we're going to take the ball out, and we're going to actually do scissors with the ball under the pelvis. So go ahead, lay back down on your back. What I'm going to ask you to do is bridge your hips up, place the ball underneath your sacrum. So it's not under the low back, okay? That's important. It's under the pelvis. I'm going to find my imprint, one leg, other leg tabletop. Now there's going to be a lot of internal musculature waking up right now. Think of all those little GPS signals honing in, trying to figure out what it is you're doing. Let's start slow. One leg forward, one leg away. What you're going to experience on here is such a nice hamstring stretch because of the height of the pelvis and gravity assisting that leg down. Let's do a slow pass. So as I progress into the pulses, if you prefer the slow, intentional stretch option, you can stay with that. Breathing in, and here we go, double pulses. Exhale, 1, 2, 1, 2. Remember, we're going submax, max, submax, max. Now, if you've done this video a few times and you've become proficient with this exercise, try hovering your arms off the mat. You can even maybe just put a fingertip down. And I would recommend keeping the arms low for a quick retreat. If your body suddenly decides it's not a fan of this option, you can't fall very far. Here's our last 2 sets. 1 and 2. Take a breath in. Exhale. Let's go ahead and bring those knees and just hug them in towards you. Now we're going to do 2 different variations of shoulder bridge today. One of them is going to be done with the ball where it is, right underneath the pelvis. So we're going to bring our feet back down to the floor. Once again, you can do feet together, V, heels, to make sure you've got good placement. So for this, we are going to be going into an intermediate version of shoulder bridge. So if you have not done an intermediate mat class before, just bear with me here and I'll take you through the choreography. Bring this leg to tabletop, extend it up, flex the foot, exhale, lower the leg, and let's just say knee to knee. Point the toes, stretch back up. Lower the leg away. Stretch back up. One more time. Exhale, lower away. Inhale, back up. Bend this knee. Place this foot back down. Toe, ball, heel. Peel the other leg up through tabletop. Stretch. We exhale, pull away. Don't let it take your low back. Inhale, stretch back up. And again, I'm saying knee to knee just to give you a line in the sand. That's not a hard and fast rule. One more. You could go lower as long as it's not taking your low back with it. Take this up, bend the knee, toe ball heel. Other leg comes back up. One more set here. Exhale away. This is another one. If you've done this video quite a few times, the arms could be in a hover. All that does is ask a whole lot more of your spinal stabilizers. Place this leg down, toe ball heel. Other leg comes up. Ooh, I can feel a difference in my two sides. One more lower lift. Keep the leg up, then toe ball heel down, and relax the arms if they were lifted. Now what we're going to do is we are going to lift the hips up, take that ball out, and then what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you place that ball under one of your feet. Now what I want you to notice is that I have my foot set up almost like it's on a gas pedal. My heel is lower than my toe. That is important. And I can't promise you're not going to get a hamstring cramp on this, but this will definitely make it a little bit less likely to happen. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a breath in. We're going to lift our hips up, but I want you to bias the weight to the foot on the floor. Let the foot on the ball just kind of go along for the ride. Breathe in. Exhale, set the hips back down. Let's do that one more time. Breath in. Exhale up. Breathe in. Exhale back down. Now we're going to stay up there. Breathe in. Exhale, lifting up. Now here's what I want you to do. Little by little, I want you to start putting more weight on the ball leg. So I'm driving into the ball more. I'm driving into the ball more. Now what I want you to do, the foot that's on the floor, can you lift up the heel of that foot? Notice what starts to happen to the glute of the leg on the ball. Now this next step may or may not be appropriate today, so just know each time you do this video you're going to get more and more proficient, but can you bring that leg up? Reach it up. Here we go. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Lower. Lift, don't worry, we only do one set of these on each leg. Back it up, bend the knee, toe ball heel. Set your hips down and do this for me. Roll that leg out. Scoop the ball in. Roll that leg out and scoop the ball in. One more time. Okay, other leg. Send that ball over. Set it up like it's on a gas pedal. Remember, we want the heel a little lower than the toe. I don't want the heel on the floor though, so be mindful of that. Starting off again, breathing in. Exhale, we drive the hips up. Remember, this is the foot that's doing most of the lifting, the one without the ball. Exhale, set the hips down. One more just like that. Breath in. Exhale, lift. Breathe in to stay. Exhale to lower. Now we're going to go up and we're going to slowly set up the weight transfer. So we're lifting up. Now, I'm going to start putting a little more weight on the ball foot. I'm going to lift the heel. I'm going to determine, is today a go day? If you're super wobbly right now, remember your tissue will only comply with what it can do. You can injure yourself if you tell it to do something and it's telling you no. So listen, peel it up. Here we go. And stretch. 2. And 1. And toe ball heel. Down go the legs. Roll that leg out and in a few times. And once more. Okay, so now we're going to come up off our backs. You can use a leg to assist you. And I'm going to turn to face you for this one because we are going to go into a version of saw using the ball. If sitting up today is not appropriate, you can give the knees a little bend. I may have to do that to start. We'll see. I've been running a lot more during all of this because I actually have time to do it now, and it becomes my sanity getting out of the house and doing something. So we're going to take the ball in one of our hands, and here's what's going to happen. I'm going to rotate opposite the ball. So there's my Inhale. Now, here's what's going to happen. The ball's either going to go to the floor on the inside or the outside of the leg, depending on your rotation today. So the other part of this is the same. I'm going to start to saw myself down. Now I'm rolling the ball away. I'm going to inhale to rebuild, pick the ball up, exhale forward. I'm going to go back in that same direction, breathing in. And again, if today is just not a day to force rotation, keep the ball inside the leg. That's fine. My back arm has turned to face me. Opposite hip is down. Inhale to restack. Allow the back arm to turn. And back forward. 2 more times. Breathe in. Think spine stretch forward as you peel down. Roll the spine, rebuild, 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 and reset 1 more time. Inhale to rotate. I'm going to go back outside the leg this time. Inhale to stack, and exhale, center. Now for the other side, I'm going to switch the ball over. And different side of the body. My rotation may be more or less. This is always the side I can rotate to more. Inhale as you rebuild. And exhale to return center. And 3 more times. Now right here, you can either look straight down or I can turn and look back, because my spine's doing 2 different things there. It's rotating and it's flexing. So you want your neck to always follow the upper back, but given that I'm doing a couple different things there with my spine, I could choose. Today it just feels natural to want to turn my head also. And 1 more time. And down. And rolling back up. And returning center. Okay, obliques roll back. We're going to do 2 versions of this today as well. I'm going to start with the one with the ball between the knees. In our prep videos and in our flow videos, I talked about how this will feel better if you have something between your legs for it. So now you get to see what I mean by that. My arms are out in front of me. So as I start my half roll back, I'm going to give that ball a little bit of attention from my inner thigh. So here's what happens with that. The musculature of your inner thigh has a connective tissue attachment to the pelvic floor muscles. So when you contract your inner thighs, your pelvic floor muscles also turn on, which has a connective tissue attachment to the transverse abdominis. So just by giving that ball a squeeze, you have facilitated a little more stability in the low back region. So remember now, we add the rotation. Armpit in line with hip, we scoop back up. Exhale. Also, when you give your inner thigh muscles priority, your hip flexors have to down-regulate. So notice your hip joint can't grip as much when you're giving the inner thigh something to do. So if you found on these exercises, even in our essential and intermediate flow-based videos, that you were a little grippy, have this prop handy. And we're going to go 1 more, and then we're going to go into our other version. Now for the other version, I'm actually going to be taking the ball out. So if you got 2 balls, you could put something else there, or even just balling up your towel. So now I want you to take 1 ball and I want you to place it behind you. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my half roll back, and now I'm going to rotate. Now what I'm going to do is while I'm here, I'm going to adjust my hand positioning, because I'm going to go a little further each time. So I'm going to go back for 3, back out a little, 2, back out a little, 1, and then return to the top. So right here, I just have my fingertips on the ball, so that when I go back, I end up with my palm to wrist and rolling back up. 1 more time. This hand is staying in front of the shoulder, armpit to hip, and all the way back up. Bring that ball over, set it behind you, and we're switching sides. I'm setting it up on my fingertips, half roll, rotate to the ball for 3, checking this front hand, 2, scoop out and reverse, and again, 3, 2, 1, and return. 1 more time. 3, 2, 1, and up. Okay, so now we're going to go down and we're going to go into a side leg lift series. So I'm not doing side kick today. So we're coming down. You can lay your head on the bottom arm. You can bend the bottom arm, or you could put a prop underneath you here. Both legs are nice and straight. And what I'm going to do initially is I'm laying the ball in front of me, and I'm just lightly placing my hand on top. Now, remember, we want to take that top leg, make it as long as the bottom leg so that your waistline kind of lifts up away from the floor. I'm going to kind of cover my waistline back up there. So inhale to lift, exhale to lower. Now what I'm trying to do is how little weight can I put on this ball? If I put a lot of weight on the ball's dynamic, so it's going to let me know if I'm relying on it too much. What I'm trying to do is stabilize myself less with this top arm and more with the muscles around my spine. Here's 2, and here's 1. Now we're going to go into leg circles. So we're lifting. Remember, you can bend that bottom leg a little. I'm going to still have to do it. Exhale through the bottom. Do not skip the hip extension. 2 more. And 1 to pause. Reverse your direction. 5. Back down, forward, up. Breathe out through the bottom. 3, 2, and 1. Now, both legs are back out. Okay, so here we go. We're going to inhale to lift, exhale to bring together, and then we lower down together. Breathe in, exhale, and down. So remember, don't lift too high because you don't want to struggle with keeping the waist off the floor. How about 1 more of those? Now we're going to put all of that to the challenge and see how much was I using the ball. So bring both legs up. Now lift the ball up. Bring the legs down. Bring the ball down. So we exhale up, inhale, hold, exhale, lower, inhale, down. Exhale, legs down. Now can you put it all together? And lower. 2 more. Can you leave the arm up there the whole time? And lower. Now, take that ball to the floor, and what I want you to do is place the top knee right on top of it, and my knee is in front of my hip. And I'm just going to roll my belly button down towards the floor. A little bit of a release here. I'm going to think of my abdominals twisting my spine to bring me back up. And again, rolling down. That feels quite nice. Engage to return. 1 more time. Rolling down. And then engaging to return. Okay, let's do the other side. So, once again, we're going to lay down. We're going to line ourselves up in a nice straight line. Bottom arm can be bent or straight. Legs are in a straight line. Hand is gently resting on the ball. Top leg, so remember, slide the toes so they're even. Inhaling it up. Exhaling down. My toe is reaching for the away wall. Heel is reaching for the away wall. This is not about how high I take my leg. This is the integrity of what direction is my leg in, parallel. I want my knee to stay facing forward, avoiding rotating it down or rotating it up, trying to prioritize other muscles versus that glute med. 1 more time, coming up and down. Now we're going to go into circles. Remember, you can give that bottom leg a little bend, forward, down, back, and up. 5 in this direction. Exhale through the bottom. How much are you using the ball? Start tempting yourself away from it. Last 2. And then pause at the top. Reverse directions. And here's 3, 2, and 1. Now, we're going to take both legs back out for staggered legs. So I lift up with the breath in. I exhale, down together. Breathe in. I'm using that ball as little as possible. 2 to go. Last one. Now, both legs. We exhale up, inhale, lift, exhale, lower, inhale, down. Exhale, up. Abdominal wall still lifted from the floor. Legs come down. Arm comes down. One more in that variation. And then down. And then up. Now together, exhaling up, inhaling down. Exhaling up, inhaling down. Can I leave the ball up there the whole time? Last 2. And lower, and 1, and lower. Take the ball down once again. Knee on top of the ball, my knees in front of my hip. I'm going to roll my belly button down towards the floor. No rush out. But when you do return, think of those top ribs pulling you back, pulling you back, pulling you back. And then they're going to permit that slide down. And then return. Okay, so we're going to bring that up. Okay, guys, we are going to be setting up for a teaser prep. This is a cross between essential and intermediate. So what I will say about this is if starting from the floor, which is what I'm going to do, and coming all the way up is a little bit too much today, then stay at the top and wait for me to get up here with you, and then you will do this part with us. Okay, so I'm coming down. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring one leg up, and I'm going to kind of go knee to knee with this. I don't want it up here because then I'm going to have to get it out of my way. So it's right here. I've got the ball over my head. Just like the roll up, remember earlier? I'm going to breathe in. Now, as I exhale, the ball has found my leg. I'm rolling up my leg. Now I'm going to give my leg a little bend because that's pulling in my back a little bit. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to deepen the curve down, lift the chest, deepen the curve down, lift the chest. So my leg could be straight, rolling a little away, lifting back up. Now I'm going to roll all the way down, bring that leg to the floor. Other leg up, breathing in. Exhale. Inhale, deepen my lumbar flexion. I'm acting like I'm going to roll down, but I'm going to lift and then present the chest. And again, I'm going to give my leg a little bend in the knee. I'm not particularly flexible in my hamstrings. They're not super compliant with that. And up, and then I'm going to roll all the way back down and take the ball overhead. Now leave both legs down. Breathe in, roll through. Find that teaser shape for me. There you are. Now, deepen your lumbar flexion, squeezing those thighs together. Come back up. Can you lift the ball a little higher? So we're doing that same thing without the leg in the air right now. Back up. Present the chest, present the chest. It's not about how high I'm sitting on my sit bones. One more. And up. Now, find that little half roll back for me. One leg tabletop, other leg tabletop. Can we do the same thing here? The legs can go back to the floor. Deepen the lumbar flexion. Present up. Exhale. Present back up. One more. All the way back. And up. Let's take those legs to the floor one at a time and come all the way down. Take that ball overhead, reach the legs out. Big ab wall stretch. Inhale. Exhale. And one more time. And release. Okay, we are almost to the end. I'm going to have you roll over onto your stomachs now. We are going to do a swan dive prep with the ball, which I absolutely adore this exercise. But one thing I do want to say about it is if you have any shoulder vulnerability, you may not find this particular one appropriate, and you'll see why. Try, and then again, if it's not appropriate, you're just going to go back to placing your hands beside your hips. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the ball out in front of us. My legs are shoulder distance apart. They're laterally rotated. Got myself a little tangled up here. Okay, now I'm going to place the ball on my wrist to forearm area, and you'll see why. Because I'm going to be drawing the ball towards me. I want my palms to end up on it. If I start with my palms on it, I don't have enough room to move. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. We're going to go 4 breaths. Let's breathe in. Slide your shoulders down your back. Lift up. Okay, I can see my hands right now. I'm basically in breaststroke prep position with my thoracic spine. Now from here, I'm going to push on the ball, and I'm going to tuck my tailbone. Remember, I'm going to draw the ball towards me. Breathe in. Exhale. And lower back down. Now, if you found you wanted to go higher, but you ran out of room with the ball, start with the ball a little higher up the forearm here. And again, inhale, shoulders draw down. They've got to keep drawing down as you exhale to lift up. Remember, tailbone's tucking, hip bone's up, pubic bone down. Next exhale, you lower. Inhale to begin. Keep drawing the shoulder blades down. They come down away from the neck. Exhale to lower. One more time. Inhale and exhale. And inhale to lower, and exhale down. Let's do a push back into a shell stretch. So we will take that ball now just out in front of us, just slightly, arms extended, and round your spine. Couple of breaths here, and we have 2 exercises remaining. So we are going to go into a version of leg pull front. It's a prep, but we're going to be using the ball for this one. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to take the ball and you are going to hug it tightly between your calf and your hamstring. Now, what I would recommend is that you don't put that toe back on the floor because it causes you to lose a little bit of that connection and the ball tends to want to pop out, or at least it does in my case. If you're not finding that to be an issue, then yes, you could start with that foot on the floor. But I have my knees together. My other foot is toes down. Now, I'm going to take a breath in. I'm going to exhale up into my hover position. Breathe in to stay. And I'm going to exhale, do that hip swing, and lower. Now you can take a peek down. Make sure your knees are even with each other when that knee comes through. That way you know you haven't twisted your pelvis. 3, this ball is great for preventing you from changing this from hip extension to knee flexion. Let's go ahead and just do one more. I think I gave you an extra there. And then we're going to lower back and down. We're going to switch sides. So again, I straighten the leg, I kind of hug it in. It tends to fit great on skin and certain fabrics. If you've got a lycra on or something kind of like shiny, it tends to slip a bit on that. Take a breath in. Exhale to find your hover. Breathe in to prepare. I'm going to make sure my knees are even. There's my exhale. Remember, I'm pushing the mat forward, not just down. And if the ball pops out, no big deal. You just put it back in. 2 and 1. And then we're going to come down. Take the ball out. Okay, so now I'm going to have you take the ball down, and I'm going to have it underneath my shin in a way that my toe is still on the floor. Okay, I'm going to be setting up for a push-up here. My other knee's on the floor for the moment. So get the hands set up, fingers are spread. Take your other leg back. So you're in plank, okay? The foot with the ball on it. You're going to lift that toe up, draw the knee in and out. You can flex the foot to catch it, push away. 3, 2, and 1. Now leave it back there, toes down. Give me 2 push-ups. You could drop to the knees if you need to, or at least drop to the one knee without the ball. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, exhale. 1, 2, 3, exhale, and down. Okay, setting the ball up on the other side. Again, I'm getting it under my shin, and I'm setting it up in such a place that I can still get my toes to reach the floor. Now, I didn't demo it this way on the other side, but I could have kept my knee on the floor for this. Okay, so if you need that modification on one of your sides, please take it. Other leg comes back. Okay, breathe in, draw it in, exhale away. So you're in your plank hold. 2 and 1. Toe down, 2 push-ups. Lower 1, 2, 3, press. 1, 2, 3, press, and bring it down. Whew. Okay, that was some work. Okay, let's just do a quick little release from all of that. Sit cross-legged if that's appropriate. You can take the legs out in front of you. You could skip this part altogether if you're done. I'm going to take one hand on top of the ball, one arm up, and I'm just going to side stretch. And I'm letting the ball roll just a little. I've got a little bit of a light press on it. Take a breath in here. Now I want you to exhale and gently turn your spine to where you're looking down towards your knee. Take that arm and stretch it away from you. Breathe in. Exhale, turn back to me. Push down on the ball. Bring that up. Arm down. Other side. If the ball makes the shoulder feel vulnerable, you can do this with the hand on the floor. Stay here for a breath in. Try to open up the rib cage. Exhale, turn on the diagonal, and I am taking that arm and I am pulling it away from me. Big breath in. Exhale, turn back. And push into the ball. And bring yourself back up and take that arm down. Okay, thank you so much for participating in our Pilates mat with the mini stability ball. That was intense. That was fun. I look forward to doing that one again. As always, if you have any questions for me, please feel free to email me at bodypotentialtraining@gmail.com. Thank you so much.